What's up, everyone? Kevin Allen here, aka the Geek from DFS Army, and it is NFL Week 12, and this is your FanDuel Week 12 first look. We're coming off what was an incredible Week 9. What did I say? Week 12? Week 10. We're coming off an incredible Week 9 where we had Fields in the first look, and of course ETN, who was a core play last week. So really strong first look last week lineup, and really strong week overall as we stuck with the Fields play, Tua and Fields, and I'm going right back to it this week. Tua and Fields, we stay with what's working. But let's take a look at the overall week 10 salaries. We'll get a look at all the different position groups and just get a feel for what we're going to do this week. Obviously, it's always early. This is the first look. It's early in the week. Things happen over the course of the week. Injuries pop up. Josh Allen, will he, won't he? I don't know. There's some injuries going on. So that will change the scene as the week progresses. And of course, throughout the course of the week, what we try to do is discover hidden gems, and all those great things is what we do in DFS Army. But what I want you guys to let me know is, who's your quarterback of the week? Who's your favorite value play this week? Drop those names in the comment section. I read everything that you write. I really enjoy the comments. So make sure to put that in there. And of course, smash that like and subscribe button. And most important, the notification bell, so you know when new content comes out. We just came off of another Monday night showdown smash. So you got to be part of DFS Army to get everything that we do. All right, getting right into it. Before I actually even dive into these numbers, what I like to do is take a look at just the games and get a sense of, what to expect this week from some of these games on the main slate. And we'll start right at the top here with the Seahawks at the Bucks. This one's really interesting. The Bucks are at home, so, put Tom Brady and crew back in the mix, although not really. Tom Brady hasn't done it this year, but certainly Godwin is interesting. I think Evans got dinged up a little last week, should be fine. Bucks are favored at home, but this one has a shockingly low total. I like Walker here. I just like both sides of this game pretty much across the board, even though that total is a little lower than I'm comfortable with. Vikings at Bills. This one, we really got to figure out what's going on with Josh Allen. If Josh Allen is fine, then the Bills offense is, set to explode here in the first game in a while, where they're not massively favored. I mean, they're -6.5, so they are favored here, but I think the Vikings have a chance of at least executing some offense in this game, make it competitive. So, we'll keep an eye on the Bills offense in that one. I'm not so sure I'm interested in anybody from the Vikings. Always Jefferson, but maybe not. Here's my favorite game, I think, this week, or one of my favorites. There's a few really good games this week. It's really interesting. What a shift week to week. It gets crazy in the NFL. But Lions at the Bears. Oh my. Right? The Bears offense has been the offense to target for the last few weeks. Justin Fields crushing it. Last week, Cole Kmet went bananas. I will admit, I did not play Cole Kmet. I played Fields with 1, not Fields with 2. Who knew? But, had a ton of Fields last week. He went crazy. Fields had the most rushing yards in a game ever by a quarterback. That is impressive. He gets better every single week. I want more Fields this week. I'm on it. On Lions side, we can go right back to Amon-Ra, the sun god. Hasn't done it for a while, but the salary has been coming down, and eventually we know that smash is coming. So the Bears defense, not that great. They actually lost some players. That is a good game stack potential to target over there. Broncos at the Titans. That one is gross. Derrick Henry can do it well, no matter what's going on. And the Titans are really bad against wide receivers and allowing a lot of fantasy points. So I think that Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton, we can give them a sniff even in this low total game, because those offenses are so concentrated. The Titans, the Broncos offense is supremely concentrated on just 2 pass catchers. So even in a 39-point total, they can get you there. And the Titans' run defense is pretty good. So it is a pass funnel situation, and we see it bared out in our exclusive points per position sheet, which is available in DFS Army Discord, premium Discord. Sign up, promo code Geek. All right, Jacksonville Jaguars at the Chiefs. This is another game, pretty high total. This one really stands out. Chiefs, another team, we just go right back to them. I think Jaguars have a chance of being competitive. Travis Etienne on their side doing his thing. Christian Kirk, big week last week. We were on him. We were on it. That fucking crushed. And, the Chiefs, it looks like Kelsey and really Juju Smith-Schuster. I cannot trust any of their running backs, especially not on FanDuel, not touchdown scorers. So it's pretty much a Kelsey or Juju or bust kind of situation with the Chiefs. Maybe Mecole Hardman, because that dude's been scoring a lot of touchdowns. They're giving him, he's just been looking good. And of course, we don't know what to expect from Kadarius Toney as of yet. Browns at Miami, another interesting game. I really like this one. 48.5 point total. Dolphins are the team that produces tournament winners. Again, last week, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle potentially in the nuts lineup or in really good lineups. They both are smashing, and you have to love what the Dolphins do in the passing game. They throw it a lot, and they only throw it to the two guys. So it creates a situation where even, there are two high volume wide receivers that are crushing it to the point where they could end up in nuts lineups. Tyreek Hill is having the best year of his career. Maybe he was right. Maybe Tua is better than Mahomes. I don't think so, though. He's not right. But nonetheless, remember he said that in the offseason? He's like, I'm improving my QB. Let's not go crazy. But it's been good for Waddle because Tua doesn't spread the football around for Hill, because Tua doesn't spread the football around the same way Mahomes likes to hit 5, 6, 7, 8 different targets in a game, where Tua is really just concentrating on these two guys. I like that. Go right back to those two. Texans at the Giants. Listen, we know one thing about the Texans. They're bad on defense. So even with this 40-point total, we have to be mindful of Saquon Barkley in an elite matchup. And pretty much if you could figure out who the pass catchers are on the Giants, like Wan'Dale Robinson or Darius Slayton, any one of those kind of punts could work out. I don't know that this is a Daniel Jones game, but I don't know that it's not a Daniel Jones game either. It's a low total, but the Giants are favored, and I kind of like it. As far as the Texans offense goes, I mean, I think Dameon Pierce is always in play, but Giants defense is pretty good, so I'm not going to get crazy with that one. Giants defense is playing well. All right, Colts at the Raiders. Sam Ehlinger going to remain the quarterback, which is just, it's unfortunate for fantasy production from this Colts team. There's no Jonathan Taylor there. It's a fucking disaster. The Raiders should be able to get a win here. Can we finally go back to Josh Jacobs and not get burned? I don't know. We'll see this week, but I think he's in the mix. Unfortunately, this is not a bad spot, though, for Josh Jacobs, but it's scary to play him after he burned us the last couple of weeks. So the volume has still been there for Jacobs, though, so it's fine. Cowboys at the Packers, 42.5 point total. This one is, we got a couple games left here, but one of the last ones on this one. I don't really know what to do here. I don't think that Zeke Elliott will play, which means that Tony Pollard will get another sort of lead back thing. But we saw last week, even in that quote unquote lead role, it's not like he got more volume. He got about the same volume he usually does. The only real difference was he was in the game in the red zone and sort of in goal line rushes. They brought him in instead of the backup. But, one has to admit, Pollard did not explode in volume last week, but that doesn't mean that won't happen here. I really like Cowboys defense in this game as well. Packers are just not good right now. But if I have one player on the Packers that I'm interested in, it is Allen Lazard. With Romeo Doubs out, it's going to be Lazard or bust in the passing game. And I think they'll throw to him. And I'll take a look, of course, at the DVP numbers to see if there's anything, that makes us think that the Cowboys funnel to tight ends or something. But for now, I think it's on the Packers side, it's pretty much just Lazard. And on the Cowboys, I am not down with CeeDee Lamb right now. Or Dak, really. I don't know. They play good defense there, and they just don't tend to produce big scores to the pass catchers anymore. Last game on the main slate, Cardinals at the Rams. This one is shockingly low on the total, 43.5. Oh, how the mighty Rams offense hath fallen. At this point, it is now accepted that these the Rams offense is just not very good. They don't score well. You don't have a running back they can rely on. Their offensive line is terrible. And it's not a good scene for them going up against what is a pretty good Cardinals defense. So I don't really like anything in this game. I think I might not like a single play. And I always like Cooper Kupp, and he's great, but Cardinals defense is pretty good. As a matter of fact, Cardinals defense might be interesting here. And Cardinals offense is pretty bad. Kyler Murray is kind of a mess. We saw last week that unless he's delivering 12, 13 targets to DeAndre Hopkins, Hopkins is not making value. So there's almost no yak. Every pass to Hopkins, he's standing still, and he does not get much run after the catch. So, and it's low A-dot targets. So the whole thing is pretty sketchy where it's just volume-based for Hopkins. You got to be careful with players like that. I'd much rather have a Tyreek Hill who could do it in 1 or 2 plays rather than Hopkins, who really needs the full 10 or 11 receptions to have any hope of making value. So with that being said, how long we get that in? 10 minutes. All right. Not too bad. Thought we got in depth on the whole slate in 10 minutes right there. I thought it was pretty good. All right. So now let's get into the players and see who's available and who we like. And right off the bat, oh my goodness, right? Look at the crew that's been priced up. Mahomes, Fields, Tua. And I love this trio. In the DraftKings first look, I went with Justin Fields because he's priced significantly lower than Mahomes on DraftKings. So on FanDuel, though, we have Mahomes here priced at 85, right at the same as Fields. And I got to say, as much as I love Fields and I love Tua, and I love them both this week, and let us mention that I love them both this week. And if I forgot to mention, I love Tua and Fields this week. Don't know what's going on with Josh Allen, the elbow injury. I assume he's going to play, but who the hell knows? It's Tuesday. So I'm going to go, I think, with Mahomes as my sort of placeholder quarterback this week. I am going to look through the rest of the QB slate. And again, I don't really see wanting to pay $7,800 for Kyler. I'm just going to skip that. Daniel Jones, $7,500. Again, they're going to rely on the run. Jones can do it because it's a bad opponent, though, but more of a tournament play. Dak here is not interested. Same with Cousins at Buffalo. Not a good scene. Cousins coming off that emotional win. That is not where you want to be targeting quarterbacks after a win like that. Jared Goff really hasn't done anything in the last few weeks to make us think that he can be a viable quarterback. He's got 1 game of had to have it score on the season. I'm not going to chase that. Derek Carr, I don't know. I don't play him. And I'm not changing that now. I think this is a bad game for Derek Carr. Jacoby Brissett, no, generally I don't play him in DFS. Trevor Lawrence, yeah, okay, at $7K. If I want to pay down, I'm keeping him in mind. He's one of the pay down quarterbacks that mildly interesting. Can we play Russell Wilson in DFS at this point? I'm leaning no. Is he giving us any hope? There was this 1 game. I mean, it will not get better in terms of a matchup. Titans are very much a funnel wide receivers and quarterback defense. Oh man, I don't know if I could go there. Andy Dalton not looking like he's that good anymore. Malik Willis, man, I don't like this matchup, but I just want to mention Malik Willis looked pretty good out there. I think Malik Willis will take over as the starting quarterback for the Titans. I think he's better than Ryan Tannehill right now. I really do. I don't know what the Titans will do, but this ain't the matchup against the Broncos to target any real offense against. So that's going to do it. I mean, there's not a lot going on at quarterback this week. I really kind of feel like this trio right here of Tua, Fields, and Mahomes on FanDuel is pretty much the way to go. And then we could try to punt with maybe a Trevor Lawrence, but I'm going to have a very tight player pool this week. I'm telling you right now, just looking at this, I can see that we're not going to be able to spread it around too much, or I won't want to. All right, let's take a look at running back here. And we got Saquon Barkley priced as the highest. It's Houston, and that's a great matchup, but I think we could point out that outside of week 1, Saquon Barkley has come nowhere near paying off on this kind of salary. You need 27 to 30 fantasy points to pay off on FanDuel at a 9,500. Understand, that's just for a 170, 180 score. This is not a good scene if he doesn't put up 30. So while I think he can, if you get 20 out of Saquon, which is a very good game on FanDuel for scoring purposes, that will not get us there. Derrick Henry, similar to Saquon here, this is not a good matchup for him to try to get us the 30 fantasy points he needs. Denver defense is good. I do think Henry will have a decent game here, though, but I don't know if it's good enough. Again, I'll say the same for Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, really good spot. Chubb is kind of taken over as a workhorse here. They're playing him a lot more than Kareem Hunt. I don't really. It's really interesting. It's an interesting shift in what they're doing, but I think it's a good thing as well. Kamara up here at 8,600, just too expensive for what Kamara generally brings to the table. Josh Jacobs at 8,400. Ooh, man, it's going to be tough to pull that trigger. We can't just afford to pay out. Listen, I want to play all these expensive guys. I do. I want to play them all. Oh, the problem is you can't. You can't afford to make a lineup and load up on these studs. So I'm just kind of saying, if I had to choose here, I'm really kind of trying to hang below this zone. I think Jacobs at 8,400 is GPP only. I think Chubb is probably the safer bet at 9K, probably Saquon Barkley if I just wanted a cash pay up. But again, I don't think we'll be able to comfortably afford that. One guy I do think we can plug in here is Travis Etienne. I kind of like that it goes against our quarterback. And I've just been riding the Etienne bandwagon since he got the full workload. Let's see if we could find anybody for less. Doesn't it feel good to pay less? Doesn't it feel good to pay less? Somebody should take that and turn it into a commercial, because that's a good theme. The commercial for something. Anyway, all right. We're going to try to pay less. Dalvin Cook, no at the Bills. Dameon Pierce, love him, but Giants, not a good matchup. Jamal Williams, ooh, touchdown guy, right? But Swift is increasing his workload. He's still good, though. Jamal Williams is playable here. I don't think I'm going to go there with him, but in this lineup, but I think he's playable. But the guy who I'm going to plug in here is Tony Pollard. And the reason I'm plugging in Tony Pollard is just, he got the red zone sort of goal line work last week. I was not happy with the volume, but he didn't really take over. But I'm assuming that Zeke Elliott will be out again. He didn't practice week 1. Even if he plays, Zeke Elliott is probably going to have like a limited role. But if he plays, I'm probably going to get off this. But for now, I'm interested in Pollard. I want to plug him in. And then we're going to just kind of scroll down the rest of the RB situation and see if anybody kind of stands out. AJ Dillon's a pass for me. DeAndre Swift, they're still working him back from injury. This is a weird situation, but normally I'd load up on Swift, but we have to take a look at his volume last week. Like 4 targets, 3 receptions, fine. He's very explosive when he gets the ball, but they clearly don't want to give him much volume. He's still quote unquote injured. So I what do you do with that? Right. So unsafe play. Jeff Wilson appears to be taking over for Mostert as the RB1 or in a heavy committee here. Had a nice little game last week, got the touchdown, but buyer beware here. He is in a full split for 6,500. Don't love that. Najee Harris, man. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. This guy was being discussed as a top dynasty prospect, has not had a good week yet this year. Your boy warned you, do not draft this man because that team is bad and their offensive line is bad. But some of you didn't listen. I'm talking about you, Alan Sislowski. Didn't believe me. And this is what happens. James Conner came back last week. Got a pretty decent workload. I don't like it. Is there anybody down here that we can mess with on FanDuel? Yeah, I mean, there's Mostert down there. Don't love it. Clyde Edwards-Helaire sometimes gets a touchdown in some of these games, but other times he gets you a 2. That is not a good scene. Yeah, there's no real relief down here. Devin Singletary, D-Sizzles. So if I had to play... Oh, is there anybody? Let's see. Let's keep on. Deion Jackson down here. Oh, man, that's gross, but who knows? So there are a couple of cheapies. I would say Singletary is probably more interesting to me than Jackson. But, man, again, Singletary just does not get a ton of volume. He does tend to get increased volume in, for whatever reason, closely lined games for the Bills. So maybe this is that spot where he could pop off, but you cannot trust it. And there's just nothing else going on down here of interest right now. Deion Jackson is the last sort of name that might stick out. Let's hope that something turns up, but he'll get his volume. Deion Jackson's fine. As long as he's not hurt, he's the starter. I don't think Jonathan Taylor will be the starter. So we've got our 2 running backs. Let's jump over to defense here. Check in here, and we'll jump over to defense. And again, FanDuel's really good about pricing defenses correctly. So let's see if there's anything that stands out here at a cheaper price point. And Jaguars against KC, no. Minnesota, no. Texans, not really. I'm not in love with them on the road. I don't mind them because the Giants do turn the ball over, but I don't love it. Detroit at Chicago. Chicago playing much better now. I'm not down with the Lions defense on the road at all. Cleveland, Miami, no. New Orleans and Pittsburgh, probably not. Dallas Packers, no. Bears, Lions at Bears, I don't like that one. Ooh, here we go. All right. Saints at Steelers, that could be interesting. Got to pay up a little bit. Or Cardinals at the Rams, that's interesting as well. So these are two defenses that stand out. Let's see who else. Is on this list. Rams is a no. Giants home versus Houston, playable. KC, playable. Tennessee, probably playable here. Buffalo, yes. Denver, yes. So, I mean, yeah. Dallas, sure. Raiders, sure. So if we want to pay up, I'd probably go Raiders. Man, it's weird, though, here. Titans against the rookie, I think, is very much in play. Buffalo is always going to be in play. But I don't want to pay up. So let's stick with, here we go. Let's just go Pittsburgh. Let's go Arizona here against the Rams. The Rams are a very, very turnover-prone and sack-prone offense at this point. We can pretty much count on those turnovers. All right, so we've got a pretty nice start going to this lineup. Pat Mahomes is in it. I would love to coordinate him, but I don't like this price for Juju, and I don't know that we can afford Kelsey. So those are the only two real stacks with Mahomes, and I think it might be too early in the week for me to come up with a lineup where I can afford Kelsey at tight end. I just think that's going to be a difficult. Let's try it. I mean, we're giving ourselves a challenge here. So look what happens. And here's the thing: understanding salary cap based work that we're doing here. The minute I plug in an expensive tight end, we are now at 6K average remaining per player. That means we got to hang out in the turd zone for 1, 2, 3, 4 more spots because we don't have. I mean, and I'm serious in the turd zone here, right? We're dumpster diving, with Allen Robinson and George Pickens and these types. We're dumpster diving. Valdez-Scantling down here. This is in the dumpsters, right? I don't want to hang in this dumpster right now. So I'm removing Kelsey. We cannot afford a luxury tight end in this type of build. Not this type of build, but just generally this week, unless some crazy value opens up. Now, let's actually just stick with the tight end position here, because since Kelsey is the only pay up, there's no Mark Andrews on the slate. So now we're going to look at pay down options. Taysom Hill always can score a touchdown. That's fine. Ertz is a no for me here. Hawkinson, a no. Higbee is interesting, guys. This Arizona team absolutely funnels to tight ends for some reason. It happens every week. Last week, Noah Fant went nuts. I'm not a Higbee guy normally, but this is a spot to keep an eye on him. David Njoku says he's coming back this week. I don't like playing guys who have this kind of an injury, but I do like the matchup. I'm not plugging him in, though. Too early in the week. The guy I'm going to go to here is Dalton Schultz. I think he's underpriced here, and I like that they just had the rest week. I think Dalton Schultz comes back healthier. That knee should be healed up. They're coming off the bye. I like Dalton Schultz at 5,500. And very importantly, notice the difference now. So with Kelsey, we're down to 6K remaining. That means we're in the turd zone for every other spot. With Dalton Schultz, now we've got a 67.50 average player remaining, so we can mix it up a little bit. So now I don't want to go straight to the 67.50 price level, but what I want to do is see if we can find any salary savings at the wide receiver position that allow us to sort of have some decent players. Now, this is FanDuel, and the difference between FanDuel and DraftKings is on FanDuel, we don't need to roster like a super turd, right? We don't need to roster, Traquan Smith or Van Jefferson or these types of like extreme, these are what I call DraftKings guys, right? Like you play one of these guys and you just hope that this is the week that they don't suck, right? But on, and again, let me know who your salary savers are. You got a sub 6K wide receiver you like this week. Who do you like? Like, who would you play in this spot? We need a sub 6K wide receiver to kind of allow us to put some decent players in the rest. Who would you play? Who do you like? Let me know in the comments. I read all of your comments, even the hateful ones. I read them. I get sad when you do the hateful ones. Don't do that. So here's my guy. I think I'm going to go here, and I'm taking a shot with what I think a guy who has a chance to score a touchdown, right? I don't hate Wan'Dale. I don't absolutely despise any of these guys. I think, Wan'Dale's fine. Allen Robinson could catch a touchdown. I don't think he's a terrible FanDuel play at all. Even Chase Claypool might be interesting, though. I'd rather pair him up with Justin Fields if I play him. Rondale Moore is, he's been okay. So any of this, Mecole Hardman. Ooh, wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Mecole Hardman does fit in kind of nicely with Pat Mahomes. So I'm gonna use Mecole Hardman there. I was gonna go with George Pickens because I like that $5,600 price point, and Pickens is getting, he's getting targeted in the end zone most games. Listen, we got to throw away what happened against the Eagles. The Eagles are an elite defense with two elite cornerbacks, but I think Pickens kind of comes back to it. Actually, I kind of want to use Pickens also. So I think Pickens a better play maybe than Hardman, but let me see what happens when I plug both of these cheapies in there. Yeah, that's not too bad. 7,700 remaining. I'm just going to take a look and see if there's anybody else that I kind of like down in this zone. And yeah, I mean, there's actually quite a few players. I think we can hang in the sub 7K zone and do pretty well this week. As a matter of fact, let's go through it because actually I'm seeing a lot of players that I like. So right up at the top here, let's go through the whole wide receiver position. Cooper Kupp is obviously a really good play every single week. Always happy to play him. Stephon Diggs, another one, really good play every week, but don't know what's going on with Josh Allen. Tyreek Hill, we love Tyreek Hill. I love Tyreek Hill every week. Would love to squeeze him in here if we could, and it might work, but probably not. Justin Jefferson at Buffalo, just an all right play. Adams, just okay. Hopkins, just okay. I'd rather play Hill than Waddle for the extra 800. I don't think it's close. So I would go with Hill there if I had to make a choice. Amari Cooper, sure, but 7,800 feels a little expensive, but I like it. I like him more that Njoku's out, so he's interesting, but we'll see. CeeDee Lamb, probably not going to spend up for that. Chris Olave, love him, but price is getting a little bit up there. Juju, same deal. Price is getting a little up there for what Juju brings to the table. I do like Amon-Ra here as a bounce back candidate. Christian Kirk, we were on him last week. Happy to go right back to it. Lazard with no Romeo Doubs. It's not the greatest matchup against Dallas, but I don't see how he comes out of this game not doing a little bit of damage. Deontay Johnson, no. Gabe Davis, maybe. Judy and Cortland Sutton are definitely of interest with no interest in Pittman and Darnell. So, and I am interested in Darnell. So, I mean, that kind of takes us through the expensive wide receiver group. There's a few that I like here, and there's a few different ways to go. We can go with Lazard or even Amon-Ra with this last spot. I think, again, paying up for Olave might not be the best. And even one of Sutton or Judy. I really think one of these guys is going to have a big game. I don't know which one, but it's tough to run on the Titans. They are speaking to me right now. They're singing to me. So's Lazard. Since I got Schultz in the game, YOLO. I got Pollard. I got Schultz. Might as well get Lazard in there. Leaves us 8,700 in the flex. Let's see what we could do with that. Ooh, this is interesting. How about, you ready for this? You ready for this? The rare tight end in the flex. We got to Travis Kelce. So we've got, you ready? Mahomes, Hardman, Kelce with the comeback of Travis Etienne. So we got a game stack built for that one. And here's a mini stack. Pollard, Lazard, Schultz, mini stack. Little stack. I'm liking this lineup. I think this is solid across the board. We saved some salary. We didn't play turds. Everybody has a chance to put up a big number. These are all touchdown scores. Remember, on FanDuel, you want touchdown scores. Now, hit me up with your favorite QB wide receiver combinations in the comments. And any players that you love under 6K on FanDuel this week, Drop a note in there, and if you crush it, I will mention you on next week's FanDuel First Look. That'll do it for this one, guys. Remember to check out DFS Army if you want the optimizer, the projections, the Discord to chat with the pros, and all the good stuff that we do. Sign up for DFS Army, promo code GEEK. You can get VIP, 10% off. We are crushing it right now. So many sports going simultaneous. So the staff is being worked to the bone. Fingers are bleeding, typing. Furious typing happening from the staff. Crushing it. Projections, the whole deal. So make sure you get signed up. And I'll see you guys later in the week for the game plan and, of course, the Thursday night showdown breakdown. Take care, everyone.